Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and this time we're going to be predicting how the Premier League season will go. But I haven't ejaculated prematurely like some other people. I am doing this 3 weeks in so that, we get more of a little understanding of the lay of the land. See where people are, how people started. The transfer window is obviously over with, so we can get a proper discussion and informed decision, and this will be 100% accurate, of course. So it looks like here the first club we have is West Ham. Now West Ham have started insanely well. And this is going to be a bit odd ranking them from beginning with West Ham, but you know what? Let's do it. It's a tough one because you can definitely see Moyes he started with all guns blazing. Just he's got the right players. Bowen is looking great. Mikel Antonio is even looking good. But I question how long this can last. How long can this feel good factor continue, especially considering how much they struggled with European football last season. They're going to be in the Europa League now, and it's going to be a lot tougher. And once those games get going, we'll probably see more of where they'll lie in the table. But of course, I'm not going to get carried away with their league position currently. I think an 8-13 looks good around about now. At the end, well, as we go, I'll reorder it so that they are where they should be. But in this 8-13 range, seems solid at the minute. Now, Forest are another team that have actually impressed me so far. They faced some tough opponents, Arsenal and United. They almost gave Arsenal a big scare when they faced us. Arsenal dominated, of course, but towards the end they got that goal back and they looked very threatening. Of course, with United they had the early lead in the games. This is I think they're going to definitely survive, but for now, obviously, I think a low mid-table ranking is about alright for now. Bournemouth, I think you got to say the same. I don't see them getting relegated, but they just don't strike me as an outstanding club this season. However, even in last season they surprised people by not going down and playing some actually very nice football. But again, they just don't have enough to punch their way up the table. But again, they have enough quality to survive, so it's one of those ones. Aston Villa now. This is another interesting one. Many before the season started would have them, some people were putting them 5th in that UCL, UEL kind of area. But again, that could be too premature. I mean, they have an amazing manager in Unai Emery. This is the question. This is a thing we have to think about. However, simply put, they're going to struggle with, again, European football, but how much does European football actually affect clubs? I mean, we saw it at West Ham last season, that's the thing, so it is a proven factor. They probably won the transfer window, possibly in the top 3 for sure of the best transfer windows this season. And again, they just have a quality class manager. This is a tough one. You know what? For now they'll go. I'm tempted to put them 8th. This is really tough. For me, at the minute they're 7th. I'll leave them at 7th. That could change though. Brentford, for me, they go above West Ham, in fact, because I feel like they've just been doing it for longer. West Ham last season, they didn't have a good one, and Brentford have proven they don't need Ivan Toney. I think they have a better manager. They just are a well-run, really good club, and I think there's just more stability there than in West Ham, and I think they're going to top them this this season, but they're both very similar. Again, with Crystal Palace, another one in that area of, I would put them they could be lower than Forest even though. They had a good start, a surprising start. Honestly, wouldn't have had them doing this well. They lost Zaha. They managed to keep Elise and Eze, two absolute quality players who could definitely be playing for top 6 club. This is a tough one, honestly. It's just deciding if they are better than West Ham, if they're better than Forest, because I feel like they're in that range. They're in that ballpark. They could be. Do I fancy Nottingham more than Crystal Palace? Who's better, Forest or Palace? The impossible question. Yeah, at the end of the day, I think Roy Hodgson has more chance of getting fired. So I'm willing to put them under Forest. At the minute, I might do that. That will definitely be subject to change. Okay, so it turns out I was using the wrong table. I was using last season's table, but no matter. I've kind of done a bit of ordering here. Yeah. But obviously this is all subject to change as we progress. Now, Arsenal, my club, my boys. Where would Arsenal go? It's gotta be the champions. No, I'm kidding. If only it was. I think second to third could be where we sit. I just don't think we have quite enough to win this season. City have had the most insane start, but there are always surprises in the Premier League. And last season, Arsenal started so well. Everyone thought they were going to win it. They didn't. Maybe it's City's time, their time to bottle it. It has happened before, but they've never had such a great start. Maybe they'll tail off towards the end. You never know. Now, Burnley is going to be my surprise survivor. They will survive at 17th, I think. Of the teams that came up from the Championship, they're definitely the best. So they have the best chance of surviving, quite simply. And I think a certain other club will go down instead of them. Or I hope they'll go down instead of them. Now, Brighton for me are insane. They are better than Aston Villa, and they deserve to get that European football this season. And I think they'll do it. They have an amazing manager. I think they've got a better team than most of these clubs here. And this is already looking quite congested at the top. Honestly, it's a very competitive league this season. I think that the bottom 4 or 5 clubs, there's a massive gap between the rest. But I think the quality in the top half of the table is better than it's ever been in the Premier League, to be honest. I mean, Brighton are just insane. And now Chelsea. Wow. Chelsea. I just can't see them getting lower than 6th. Would be absolutely dreadful. And it'd be a diabolical season, but there's just too many clubs in and around the area. Do I see Brighton coming above them? You know what, I do, because while Chelsea are the bigger club and have more of that, you trust them to get higher. Last season they came 12th, and honestly Brighton are more stable. He could be a better manager than Pochettino. A lot of their players are better. I mean, would you swap the Brighton squad for the Chelsea squad? Is the Brighton squad actually better? In a lot of areas, yeah, I think it is. So, I mean, really, you take Enzo out of Chelsea and put him into the Brighton team, and then, yeah, it's miles and away the better squad. I think having Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo in that team kind of saves it, and Thiago Silva. But yeah, for me, Brighton are above Chelsea, and of course, how much we have to talk about City. Of course, they're looking likely to win it. They've won 4 in a row. They're looking good. blah 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 blah. Same old boring story with them. Everton. Yeah, I'm putting them in relegation. I think they're gonna. This is the season that they finally go down. I think it's more of a risk. I mean, to put them here because I mean, if you that's probably what will happen right there. But it's got to happen eventually. They got to go down. They do have a better manager to save them. But it's more just hope than anything. I just want them to go down. It'd be hilarious. It'd be funny. I know you guys agree. Oh, Fulham. They probably sit somewhere here. Where is a tough choice? Yeah, I would probably have them just above Crystal Palace. I think they're not going to have a great season considering how well they did last season. They're going to lose Palhinha in January, definitely, and he's an amazing player, their star player probably. They've lost Mitrovic. They've got Jimenez up top who can't score. They look kind of toothless. They did knock Tottenham out of the Carabao Cup, and they did draw with Arsenal, us. So they definitely have some fight in them. So it could honestly go many ways, but I predict the manager will leave the club at some point and they'll just tank down the table. I just don't see it going well. They needed to hold on to Mitrovic. I think they should have held on to Mitrovic, and they didn't, unfortunately for them, and it's a shame. But Liverpool, I think they're coming second. A lot of people don't have them in that number 2. I'm picking them in at number 2 after what I've seen so far this season. I think Liverpool, they're cranking it up to their old ways, and they have an amazing manager, the second best manager in the league, of course, and they have amazing players. They've done that midfield rebuild. I think the only thing that could damage their season is, one injury to a centre back, and they're done because they have Gomez, Matip, Kanate, Van Dijk. A lot of them are injury prone or not good enough, so those centre backs is going to be a very key area for them. Also, even if an injury to midfield, because they've had that whole midfield rebuild, but one injury to one of them guys and they get set back. But again, you can use this argument for any club, of course, but Liverpool have been damaged by injuries in previous seasons, and it has kind of derailed their season. But if everyone can stay fit and firing, their attack is insane. Definitely second for me. Luton, not much has to be said here. They are probably coming last. It's a shame, but they're just not Premier League standard, and they didn't really make the right enough signings. Of course, that's not their fault. They don't have the finances to make those kind of signings to keep them up. But I think it's a given that they will drop. And they are winless in their first 4 games. Pointless, in fact. They have no points alongside Everton, Burnley and Sheffield. So, it's when choosing relegation, it's not too difficult this season. Now, Newcastle, this one is tough. Of course, they have a great manager and a good squad. They are in a Champions League, which could drag them down the table. I don't see them getting top 4 again this season. Can they hold on to a Europa League spot? The competition is just so tough up there. They did smash Aston Villa 5-1. So you know what I'll do? I could do that for now. I did say Aston Villa could move down. It's tough, but I think Brighton just have more. They just have more this season. It's so congested at the top. Looking at what clubs I have left, so more teams are going to have to drop down. This is really tough. But for now, Newcastle stay here, honestly. But they're probably better than Chelsea, which is, again, it's tough. Sheffield United, this option isn't difficult. They're coming 19th. It's not certain they'll come 19th. They could be 18th, but it's probably certain that they're going to get relegated. They're not a bad team. It's just when you're up against the rest of the teams in this league, you have to, I feel like it's a given to put them there. Could they survive? Sure. if they do survive, it's probably by one spot. I mean, they're going to be in that fight for the season. Now this is where it gets tricky. Let's just rank Wolves, because I feel like Wolves isn't too difficult of a decision. Who do we have here? Wolves for me definitely have to go here somewhere. They'll probably just to go above Bournemouth, because again they've had a big turnover. They've lost some key players, a big turnover. They lost their great manager from last season, who again like pushed them up that league. Maybe due to a lack of ambition, they haven't actually looked too bad in their first few games, so they're gonna survive. But again, they're just not looking too great. And obviously some restructuring here has to go. I mean, that Crystal Palace decision is looking quite harsh now, looking at this, 8, 9, 10, 11. That Crystal Palace, that Crystal Palace decision is looking quite harsh. You know what? I think Fulham have just been more solid so far. I think he's a better manager than Roy Hodgson, but again, he could walk, he could go. And will Forest be that good? Wow, this is difficult. I might drop Forest now. For me, Crystal Palace, Forest and Fulham, they'll all survive, but they're in that same category. You know, mid-table, decent clubs can trip you up. But I think that's good for now. So now these two, this is gonna shake up the table quite a bit. Spurs are looking great under Ange. How long can it continue? Who knows? I mean, I'm gonna have to put. They're gonna be in 5 to 6, which means one of these guys are gonna have to drop down. And you know what? I'm dying on that hill of Brighton, the Brighton Hill. So Newcastle will be going to 8th place. Yes. Chelsea will be 7th. 8, 9, 10, 11th. Yep. You know what? And Aston Villa will be 9th. Wow. Okay. But this just shows the quality of the Premier League. Like, one of these clubs has to be down here. And the way I see it, these up here, these 6 are just stronger. And despite everything that's going on at United, I think they'll come good. I mean, I don't know what it is about it that I'm putting them there, because they are currently sitting at 11th spot. And you'd say, surely, again, these other clubs are better. But they have Amrabat coming in. Ten Hag is a great manager and has proven it. Last season, he did very well with what he had. I mean, I don't think you can count them out this early on, just like last season when they lost 3 in a row. So I think they'll make that top 4 spot. If they won't make top 4, maybe 5th for that UCL. But yeah, this is a kind of a crazy one. I mean, Brighton I've put quite high up. I understand that. Tottenham, I mean, before the season started, Tottenham are definitely coming 8th for me. They're definitely swapping with Newcastle, literally. But under Ange, they're going to take some hits, but I think they'll scrape that 6th spot. They're just playing great football, great team, good team. I think they're just better than Chelsea at the minute, so I have to put them above Chelsea. To be honest, with Newcastle and Villa, it's just a bit of top 6 bias, honestly, because their squads are better. They should be doing better than both of Chelsea and Tottenham. But I just can't have such an upset going on. I mean, Pochettino has to perform this season, and 7th is a minimum, literally. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments about this ranking, and yeah, I'm sure we'll come back at the end of the season and see how awfully wrong I was. But to be honest, I don't think this is too bad. Anyways, let me know what you think, and bye.